Hello, and welcome back to the next episode. And today, you might have guessed it, we are back and we are going to at least start on our huge, massive automatic trading hall. And I have some pretty awesome plans for it. So, no more will we have only this little chest area up here. We will also have the area down underneath our base as our primary automatic sorting system. But let's go ahead and check that out. I'll go ahead and give you guys a peek of what we did last episode in case you didn't see. We built up that whole dock area over there with those 3 boats and then that crane. And I think it turned out pretty nice. It's a little bit of a longer episode. I'd prefer to keep the episodes around 25 minutes or so. But anyways, so going down here, we have a lot of work to do to flesh out and decorate this area, but I wanted to get that villager trading hall finished, which we did. And then I want to get this area nice and finished. That way we have a good sorting system. So I'll just go ahead and give you a tour. In between last episode and this one, I went ahead and I dug out this whole area. It took maybe 2 hours. It wasn't that bad. And now I've got a bunch of chests in my inventory, and I am working on replacing this entire wall with chests. And then I will replace this entire wall with chests. And then I'm not sure how far we're going to get in this episode, but eventually I need to go back behind all of these chests and fill it in with hoppers. And then up above here, I need to do the actual automatic sorting system. And these walls on either side of us are going to be for bulk storage. So each of these little silos is going to have 5 double chest worth of storage for an item. I'm considering for very, very popular items such as stone that we end up with a bunch of, having 2 silos dedicated to it. But that is the plan, and there are 48 different possible items that we can program on each side, which gives us a total of 96 programmable items for bulk storage. And the plan was that then here in the middle of this room, we will have some barrels, or yeah, probably barrels, just kind of sitting out here with minecart rails on top of them. And we're going to run a few minecart hoppers over them to disperse some less common items that we still need automatically sorted. And how we're going to do that is, like, when you have a chest, you can go ahead and, let's say, fill in a chest like so. And then if a minecart were to run over this chest, and let's say the minecart only had granite in it, then no granite would be dispersed in this chest since there's no room for it. However, if the minecart had one of these 3 items in it, then it would disperse it into this chest. So that is a good way to do slightly less bulk storage, but still have it automatically sorted. And I think that's going to work nice. So we'll have a few rows of that. I don't know how tall we'll stack it up. I thought about making it look like the shelves at like Costco or something like that, but we will see how many items we, or how much room for storage we actually need. And then another cool plan is that this back area here, I pushed it out enough to where it actually stretches into our farming district. And so I was going to put an easy access staircase. I just tried to point at the screen. Obviously, you guys can't see me though. I was going to try to put a easy access staircase here so that we can go up and down into our animal district, or our farming district. And we are currently, or at least I am off camera, breeding up some llamas, trying to get a perfect 15 slot llama, and then we'll breed those up and get several of them. And the idea was that I wanted to be able to have that as kind of like our easy mobile storage system, where we'll have like an area for our llamas in the back here in our main storage hall. We can grab whatever we need, load up the llamas, and then we can take them up the staircase easily to the overworld and have them follow us around. I had that idea, or I also thought about, it would be quite a bit more work, but having like a mobile minecart chest storage that we could disperse to different areas of our world. And so we could manually fill up those chests with what we need for a project, and then we could press a button and all those chests would just shoot over to wherever the project site is, as long as we have like a train stop. I don't know what we'd call it, minecart stop there. And yeah, so that's an idea. Another cool idea for this trading hall or storage hall area was I was going to have it potentially be our teleportation hub using the Ender Pearl teleporter things. And that way we could get back and forth to our storage system very quick and easy. And I think that would be pretty convenient. So we just set up the Ender Pearl buttons all around here, and then we could just click a button real quick and it would just boom shoot us back here. We could grab whatever we needed, and then we could teleport using the Ender Pearl back to our work location. So that is kind of what I've got planned out for this area. I have come up with a few different color palettes and decorational palettes, but I have not completely decided on them and honestly don't know if in this episode we'll have time to get much decoration out of the way. I haven't decided if I want to get the functionality out of the way in this episode or get the decoration out of the way, but I will figure that out as I'm doing some of the more boring stuff like filling in all these chests. So, but yeah, I will definitely let you guys know what some of those ideas are once we get a little farther along, but I think I'm going to go ahead and cut and go off camera and do a bunch more work on here. And also, just to flash back to our pillager episode, I finally got everything fixed from that. So I got all of the villagers replaced that were killed, and I got all the decorations rebuilt that were destroyed. So we are in good shape, and I feel like we are making really good progress in this world. One of the big concerns I have for the storage area, though, is that some of the large storage systems like that, or like this that I built in the past, unfortunately with this many chests in an area, chests are considered entities, and so they can really slow down the game, and to the point where, you know, if I'm looking in this direction it will be fine, and then I'll go to turn around and it will just, you know, be like very slow frame rates like that. But hopefully Minecraft has kind of patched over that so that it won't be too big of an issue. I can definitely tell even now, just spinning around this direction, I get a little bit lower frame rates, but we'll see. Anyways, I will catch you guys soon after I have some considerable progress done. Hello, and we are back, and this is the design that we are going to be using for our automatic sorting system. It is an old, tried and true, tested design, and I will show you guys how to make it right now. So, what is nice about this is that this item sorter, although it's very expensive, allows for bulk item storage, and basically the concept is that right here, if I can get it, is your input, and then this hopper line right there transports the items through all of your different modules, and then this is a side view of what one single module looks like for the item sorter. So basically the whole purpose of this right here is to unload the chest that will be sorted, and then this hopper line transports it through the different modules as it basically sorts the items out, and then this hopper is the hopper that you use to program the whole item sorter. So let's take a look in here, and this is kind of what we've got going on. So you'll see that there's 4 of some sort of item on these 4 slots, and then there are 41 of an item in this slot. And what is very important about this is that you want to make sure that whatever item you put here is something that will not ever enter the item sorter. If you accidentally put in an item that you used for this programming in these 4 slots, it will completely ruin the whole sorting system and it will mess up the whole process. So it's very important that whatever you pick for that item is not something that you will ever accidentally send through the sorter. So a good way to do this is to, in my actual one that I'm building, I'm going to be using paper, and I'm going to be renaming them to void. That way, even if I threw paper into the item sorter, it should not stack on top of the paper that was renamed to void. Thus, it will not ruin the system. And then this slot right here is what the item they are actually programming it to look for. And the reason that there are 41 here is because of this comparator right here. When you have 41 items plus these 4 here, adding up to 45, it sends a signal that is too strong, and the moment you get that 46th item into the hopper there, it will light up this redstone, which will trigger this repeater, and then it will turn off that torch, allowing for basically for this hopper to drain that item through, and then it will drop it into the bottommost chest. So let's say that we've got a system like this set up, and I throw, let's see, what do we program this for? Granite. So let's say that I throw 1 piece of granite up here. It will suck that down into there, into there. It will get filtered down into there because it can stack on top of that granite. But the moment that it stacks onto there, this whole system triggers once and it drops the granite down to this hopper, and then it prioritizes dropping it down into the next hopper over inserting it into the chest. So it will drop into this one, drop into that one, and then finally, since this is the bottom of the line, this hopper will dispense it into this chest, and there is our 1 granite right there. So that is how the sorter works, and basically the idea is that you have a whole bunch of these modules right next to each other, like so, and then you have a whole bunch of items that it is programmed to look for, and that is pretty much it. Ooh, I'm just messing things up, but you get the point. So that is going to be our bulk item sorter. For our non-bulk item sorter, it's actually going to be a little bit different just because it is cheaper and easier to do. And we are going to be using barrels like so. We're going to have a line of them like that, and then we are going to have powered rails on top like so, and then we will have a well, first of all the items will go through the bulk sorter first. Any items that are left over will then go to the more specific smaller storage area, and it will use a minecart with a hopper to just run over all of these barrels and put the items into them. However, you can still program this method by doing this. So let's say that we've got stone, we've got granite, we've got some polished granite and some diorite. So what we can do is, let's say we want this chest to only be stone right here, or maybe we want it to be stone and granite. So we can go like this, and then we'll take granite for the rest, and we'll go like that. And now when a minecart with a hopper runs over here, it will only be able to implant an item into this chest if it matches one of these 2 items, or however many items we program it to do. The important thing to keep in mind when you're doing this is, let's say that this is kind of what our chest looks like right now, and we need to go get some granite out. It is very important that we do not take like a full stack like that, because then it will leave this slot unprogrammed, and when the hopper with the minecart goes over it again, it will implant just a random item into there, which will defeat the purpose of our automatic sorter. So instead, what we need to do is, whenever we take items out, we just have to be careful that we grab it and then leave 1 there like that. That way the slot will still be programmed to only accept granite. So that will be our kind of backup storage, and for our items that we won't have a lot of. So for example, like we're going to be putting stuff like smooth stone, cobblestone, logs and stuff like that, we're going to get a bunch of into the bulk storage. But then other items that we're definitely going to have but would be too expensive, because I mean, like, this is really expensive to program all of this. It takes a lot of wood to make the chests and to make the hoppers, and a lot of iron and stuff like that, and a lot of redstone. And it's just, you don't want to be programming just miscellaneous items like stone buttons or something, because you're never going to have enough stone buttons unless you're doing a massive project to fill this up. Instead, you want to save this for the items that you're going to get bulk of, like when you go mining and stuff like that. And then this is where you'd have it programmed for stone buttons, for like miscellaneous types of wooden stair blocks and stuff like that, and half slabs, and the things that you have to craft and that you probably won't have as many of. So that is what we are going to be doing for the 2 types of item sorters. I'm going to go ahead and go back to our survival world and work on that a bit, and then I will come back with a progress update. All right, we are back, and this is what we've got going on right now. Ignore these 2 ugly areas here. I've still got a lot of work to make them look better. They're kind of just there for me to remember where I want them. But again, this is that more basic item sorter that we're going to be using for our overflow items. And then as you can see, we've got in all of our bulk item storage along here, and I'm just working on programming it up. I've actually had a lot of difficulty deciding what I want to program into the bulk item storage, but I think I've got it figured out pretty well. So this side here is, well, it's actually all blocks that we can build with, but more importantly, they're blocks that we're very likely to get when we're out mining and stuff like that. So you see, we've got the basic stones here, and it's not actually the best organized for like items being next to each other. It's kind of organized for that, but more of what's important to consider when you're programming in your item sorter is that if you throw a bunch of stuff into the input chest, and the more hoppers that are being engaged at one time, it's going to create a lot of lag in your world. So instead of prioritizing or completely prioritizing organization, I instead prioritized this system to create the least amount of lag. So these items on this side are the ones that I am likely to have the most of. So when I throw stuff in the sorter chest up there, they will get sorted out quickly and it will create a lot less lag. Whereas, because the system goes around and it sorts items that way, crosses over, sorts them on that side of the room, and then it will come down through here and sort them like that. So instead of putting something like smooth stone and cobblestone way over there at the very end of the item sorting system, where they're going to have to run through a million hoppers to get over there and create a lot of lag and slow down the world, I put them over on this side so that they will get filtered out quicker and it will engage less hoppers at one time, and it will definitely reduce the amount of lag by a lot. And so these are all the blocks that we're going to be getting out mining and stuff like that, and when we're just working at some of our manual farms and things. And then over here, I think I've decided that this is going to be where our automatic farm items are going to income. And how I'm going to help reduce lag is that that area somewhere over there is going to be our manual input chest, most likely, where we can manually input items, and then they'll go around the whole system. But over here, even though the manual input items will eventually make it over to that side if they don't get filtered out, I also want to have an input for all of our automatic farm collection here. That way they start the system a little bit farther down the line, so that they don't have to run through as many hoppers and create as much lag. Because unfortunately, all of our automatic farm systems, these hoppers are going to be running pretty much continuously. So I definitely want them to be filtered out quickly and create the least amount of lag possible. So as you can see, I started here programming in all the different wool types. And so we're going to have 16 of these chests dedicated just to wool. And then I'm going to have to go through and I'll probably do like our sugarcane pumpkins, some of our other automatic farms that I'm planning on building soon. I'll have to program these in here. And then I'm guessing that this whole, probably about 75% of this section is going to be input from our automatic farms. And then maybe the last 25% or so we'll be able to throw in a few more manually harvested items that we still want bulk storage for, and then the rest will just all get dispersed throughout all of these barrels here. And I don't know what I'm going to do for the decoration on these. I kind of wanted them to look like Costco shelves, sort of, where we'd have barrels here, we'd have like the space here for the minecart, and then we'd have another row of barrels and then the minecart on top. But actually starting to build it like that, I ran into some obvious problems, like needing to lift the minecart up over this walkway and stuff so that you could walk under it. And I don't know. I'm not too worried about decoration right now, but at the same time, this is one of those things where decoration and functionality have to coexist pretty precisely. So I will figure that out off camera before the final progress update for this episode. And then I'm still working on a build palette. I've got quite a few ideas though. I think I'm going to push this floor down another block or half a block or so. And then I will pick out a color palette, and then I'm still going to vault the ceiling, I think. And should be good. Over on that end, we're going to be implanting a staircase so that we can get llamas with chests up and down to the overworld and then back down into our storage system. That way we can have like a big mobile storage system using llamas to follow us around. So that is kind of the plan. The last thing that is definitely not going to happen anytime soon is that for all of these bulk item storage things, I wanted to put in some sort of an automatic request system so that we could somehow, just from standing in one location, like standing here, we'd be able to request, let's say, jungle logs and stone bricks and sandstone or something like that, and we'd click a button and it would automatically filter out a couple of stacks of each of those items from the chest, and it would deposit them into a shulker box for us or into our inventory or something of the sort. But that is definitely for a whole episode on its own, because that's going to be a really complicated system. But that is where we are at now. I think we have pretty much all the functionality stuff down except for our input chest and this whole simpler storage system. But I will keep on working on that, and I will come back with the final progress update. Hello, and I think we have reached the end of this episode. Unfortunately, not a whole lot of progress was made, but I quickly realized that my other storage or automatic sorting system that I had designed is not actually going to work because for some strange reason, minecarts with hoppers will not implant items into barrels. I might be able to try it again with chests, but I'm pretty sure that you can't put mine rails on top of chests. So I'm at a standstill because you could do it with hoppers. Unfortunately, then I'd still have to have the redstone system to lock the hoppers so that you can actually program them. So I am not too sure on that one. Either way, this is kind of a rough color scheme that we've got going here. I was going to use the stripped warped log blocks for this, and I still think it would look better having it smooth. However, that would be quite the expensive endeavor. So instead, I opted for these warped leaves, or whatever they're called, and I have an abundance of them and they are very cheap, and so we will go ahead and use those up. But yeah, this is what we've got going on now. I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to push this area back, and I'm going to make a T-fork right here, have two sides going out like that. And then instead of having large mass storage, I'll still have the item sorter like above, but I'll just have like 2 double chests for each one or something like that, so that I can sort more items, but I don't need to necessarily store as many of them. So that is kind of the plan. And yeah, so I'm going to be working on that and vaulting the ceiling and decorating underneath between now and the next episode, and I will catch you guys back in a few days. Alright, well, I know I said that that was the end of the episode. However, before I had a chance to finish editing the episode and combining all the clips together and stuff like that, I actually did a decent amount of aesthetic work on it, and I decided that I would go ahead and add on this clip to the end, showing you kind of the direction of what this is going to look like. Up here, these little cutouts are going to be replaced with redstone lanterns, redstone lamps, whatever they're called, and I am going to hook them up to daylight sensors somewhere outside so that they will turn on during the day and turn off during the night, so that before I go up out of my storage system, I will know what time of day it is. So that is kind of the plan for there. These torches that you see along here, I think I'm going to remove. I'll have to wait and see a little bit longer after I get those lamps in to kind of get an idea of what it's going to look like with and without the light, but that is kind of the direction that we are going. And I think that this is a gorgeous color palette that I got together here. I especially like what I ended up doing with these anvils here, and then the warped trapdoors. I think that worked out pretty well, and we are getting a lot of lag right now. But anyways, that is going to actually do it for today's episode. And the next episode, we're going to finish up decorating the rest of this section of our storage system. And then, like I said, I'm going to push back this area here, and I'm going to make a T-fork or maybe a kind of cross-like design, crucifix-like design, and push that back even a little bit farther. And then the T-fork here is going to have the same type of item sorter that's here, but I think instead of doing 5 double chests of storage, I'll do 2 double chests for each section, and then those are going to be more for items that I still want to be automatically sorted, but I don't necessarily expect to get 5 double chests worth of that item. So that is kind of the plan. And then another thing that I want to work on is that currently my input for the system is up here. This little chest, I don't really like the aesthetic of this area. Well, this whole little area I need to work on a little bit, but I think this will end up being a temporary input there until we get things more figured out. And I don't know, I thought about having multiple inputs or something like that, like having one somewhere in here and then having one like in the center. I'm not really sure though. I'm going to keep thinking about that, but definitely I want to mess around with this input and make it more aesthetic and more convenient and stuff like that. And then underneath the glass here, we are going to be doing some sort of design, whether that be a giant one-to-one scale map, which would take forever to make, especially for something of this scale. But or I don't know. I will keep on thinking about it, but I definitely love the direction that this storage system is going so far. And I think that's going to do it for today's episode, and I will catch you guys in another week or so.